Welcome to this Tutor to You Sociology topic video on media, looking at the selective filter model. The selective filter model is a model that suggests that the audience is able to display agency in their choice, interpretation, and retention of media. It describes the audience as being active in this process and that they are in control of how they use the media. Clapper suggested that in order for the media to have an impact on the audience, it must pass through several different filters, each of which is controlled by an individual choice in how they interpret the messages that are being transmitted. Clapper suggested that there are three filters that media messages pass through. Firstly, selective exposure. This is the individual's choice as to whether or not to engage with the media in the first place. Simply put, individuals make an active decision to watch a television program or to read a certain newspaper, and this influences their exposure to different messages. The second filter is selective perception, the assumption that individuals will make informed decisions on whether or not to accept the messages transmitted by the media based upon their experiences and their worldview. Individuals will interpret these messages and either accept or reject the message. Finally, media messages pass through a third filter, that of selective retention. This filter assumes that individuals choose whether or not to retain the information presented to them, with Clapper suggesting that individuals will retain information that aligns with previously held opinions. As such, media messages have limited influence in changing people's perceptions, unless these align with already held views. How does this work? Initially, the media will present information to an individual and they will exercise their choice to either engage with that media source or not. In contemporary society, with a diverse range of media for individuals to engage with, this choice limits the impacts of media messages. If the individual does choose to engage with the media, then the media will have to pass through a second filter, the selective perception filter. Individuals here have the choice of how they interpret the messages that are passed on to them by the media, with messages more likely to be received favourably if they align with the audience's perception of the world. In order for the media to have an impact, it must pass through a final filter, what Clapper referred to as selective retention, how individuals remember and act upon the information presented to them. Once again, individuals are more likely to retain this information should it align with their worldview and already held beliefs, demonstrating how media has limited influence to change an individual's perception. In contemporary society, this can often be seen through social media. With increased pluralism within the media, especially after the digitalization of media and the growth of the internet, this has led to individuals having increased choice over the types of media they access, and limits the effects of media that does not reaffirm their worldview. Even social media sites that represent a wide range of opinion, for example Twitter, X, and Facebook, these operate as an echo chamber, repeating the interests and ideas of individuals back to them based upon complex algorithms that collect information about an individual's likes and dislikes. Within mainstream media, this can be seen through critical views of media sources and calls for defunding of the BBC for alleged political bias, showing how individuals interpret media in their own way. What is unique about this situation is that calls for defunding come from across the political spectrum, demonstrating how individuals can and do interpret the same message in many different ways. In criticism of the selective filter model, Postman argues that selective retention is often not possible as the attention span of individuals has changed as a result of overexposure to media. Furthermore, with the growth of new media, and in particular the use of algorithms to select information for individuals, the effectiveness of the selective exposure filter can be called into question, as individuals have less choice over what media messages they access, despite seeming to have more choice of sources to access that from. Festinger also argues that individuals are far more likely to seek out media that reaffirms their own opinions and views, and this can be seen through newspaper circulations. Finally, there is an issue of cause and effect. with Marxists suggesting that dominant ideology is transmitted through other social institutions, which helps to form the audience's opinions in the first place, which negates the idea of selective exposure. There is an illusion of choice, as many may have been exposed and converted to the dominant ideology of the media before being given a choice of what types of media to consume. That concludes this Tutor to You Sociology topic video on media, looking at the selective filter model. Thanks for watching.